Hey everyone. Alright, today we are going to be removing the. Wow. Today we are going to be reviewing the film Drive, starring Ryan Gosling, and I have no clue who the rest of the people were. Let's begin. Alright, so this is a movie I've wanted to see for a while. I never got around to seeing it. Whenever I'd be at the library, I'd see it on the shelf and I'd be like, I want to see it, but I don't really feel like watching it. It was, one of those weird things where like it's on your list of films to see, but at the same time you just don't really have any interest. It's bizarre. So yeah, I finally got around to seeing it, and I knew it was going to be one of those more slow, artsy type films, and I don't have a problem with those as long as they keep my attention and they're not boring. Well, I guess let's just get into the movie. Let's start out with the positives instead of the negatives. The positives are uh man, I'm not even really sure. It has a decent story, but it takes forever to move. I will say it from a filmmaking standpoint, it has really nice use of lighting techniques, and the editing is good. And there's some slow motion shots throughout the movie, which I really thought were well done. There's a few moments where something really unexpected happens, and you're like, oh, whoa, did not see that coming at all. Now let's move on to the negatives. This one's kind of a negative, kind of a positive. So it's hard to decide which one it is. But those moments of unexpectedness that I was just talking about, they involve heavy violence. And so you're watching the movie, and, you know, the language isn't that bad, and it's so far okay. There's nothing inappropriate, and you're like, why is this movie even rated R? And then out of nowhere, there's a scene of just graphic, bloody violence. And I would say it went, I don't know, maybe a little over the top for being realistic. Obviously, I've never been in a situation like that, so I can't really say what is and what isn't. It was just like shocking because the whole movie there's been nothing and it's just been going along, and then all of a sudden like someone gets shot or stabbed and there's blood going everywhere. And you're like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? So that's kind of a positive to the film, but at the same time it's kind of a negative because it's just like hyper violent. And I don't have a problem with violent movies, but when you're watching something that you're not expecting that to be in it to that extent, and then it happens and you're like, oh crap. The other problem I have with this movie is I have like this love hate kind of feeling about Ryan Gosling. I think he's a good actor, but at the same time, every role that I've ever seen him in, it's like really slow. All he does is just like kind of stare off and not say anything, and he has like one facial expression. Like in Blade Runner 2049, which I love that movie, and it works for who he is in the movie because he is an android or synthetic human, whatever semantics. And so it kind of fits the character he's playing. But in other movies, the character that he's playing that I've seen him in, it's just the same thing. And he just kind of stands there and he's like, it's like, do some more. Like, come on. I like actors that are very expressive. I think that's part of the reason why I like Harrison Ford so much. He has a great facial expression range that he has in his films, and that's what, for me anyway, that's what sells the tension and the drama of the movie. If you have someone during tension and drama who's just like, get the picture. Another part that I really didn't like was the dialogue. There's not a ton of dialogue in this movie, but there is some. But I swear, like, for his dialogue in the movie, he was probably given like 2 pages of a script. Like, that's it. I was watching it with someone, and there's this whole scene where he goes to this girl's apartment and he's helping her with like some groceries, and you can tell she likes him and she thinks he's cute. And she's like trying to talk to him and stuff, and he's so emotionless and he doesn't say anything. And it's got like kind of, I wouldn't say romantic music, but it's just a background soundtrack going on. And I said to the person I was watching it with, I said, if someone edited this and they just changed the music, they didn't change anything, and they changed the music to sound slightly creepy, you would swear that this guy was like a total creep and a weirdo, and that he's gonna like harm her in some kind of way and harm her child. Like, that's how weird it was. And that really just stood out to me. And I know his character in the movie is supposed to be somewhat socially awkward, I suppose, but man, it was weird. The lady was like, "Hey, I had a lot of fun today." And then he's like, yeah. Like, that's how, like, I'm not even joking. That's how long the silence between these two people were. And I'm like, man, why does she still like this guy? He doesn't talk. His personality is like so boring. And yet you can tell like she loves this guy. So that was just really bizarre to me. It's funny because I was thinking about my own personality, because sometimes I'm very quiet and I'll listen, but at least I, nod my head or respond or have some facial expressions. I'm not just totally like dead. All right, what else did I want to mention? This part was good. There's a moment in the movie where he finally snaps, and then you get to see Ryan Gosling's acting come out a bit more. You see that like everything that's been building inside him, and we don't know why it's been building inside him, but whatever's been building inside him for the past, I don't know, maybe his whole life, finally comes out in this like rage of violence when he's with these bad guys. Whatever he was holding back in his life, it's gone. He just finally snapped, and he's threatening people, and he's hurting people really, really bad. Some people he just straight up kills. So that helps pick up the movie, and it does finally show like Ryan Gosling isn't just the same boring actor who, when we watch him in movies, he does the same thing. I can't think of anything else to really talk about with this film. Would I see it again? No. Was I glad I finally saw it? Yeah, because now it's off my checklist and I can say I didn't like it. I'm glad I only spent $2 and bought it at a thrift store, because I'm throwing it out because I'm never going to watch it again. Out of 10, what would I rate it? I always, in my 1 to 10 scale, I always pick, like, 5 is like that middle point. Like, anything under 5 is, like, bad, and anything over 5 is good. So for this movie, for personal enjoyment, I would probably give it, like, a 3. From a filmmaking standpoint, I'd probably give it, like, a 5 or a 6. That about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment your thoughts if you've seen this movie below. And tell me what you think about Ryan Gosling in general with his films. Like my video if I didn't already say that. I'm going to continue uploading more movie reviews, trailer reviews, various other things, just me talking. So yes, hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you guys in a later video. I'm Aaron, and goodbye.